Hi, Internet people. This is Frank Rauscher again. We're at a point where we got I hope everybody's got it done, that the head has been sanded and so is the body. And we used these mandrel types with that screw on to the mandrel, the sanders. And I come in and I smooth that out real good. And then I use the Fordham, this one here, with the flexible shaft, and I come in, and this is larger, and I do most of the body in that. So that works out ideal. And I want to get it really smooth as best I can. You know, doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can get all the sole marks out and the dings and everything else, that's great. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is come back and also put the center lines back in, because we're going to be building off of that. The head's basically, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the center line and I didn't show it to you. You want to get the center line back on the body. That's imperative. The head's pretty much done. We have a little bit more to do, but we'll do that down the road. So for now, I just want to start moving the camera down, and we're going to start putting measurements on here so that we can locate the wings and the mantle and so on. So bear with me, and I'm going to move. Okay, we're back again. I put some measurements on here just as references so that we can start getting them onto the bird so that we can cut the wing in and also the mantle. So what I'm going to do, the first measurement I want to take is from the tail up, and that would be 2 7/8. So I'm going to lay the ruler flat against the bird and put a mark of 2 7/8. And what that's going to locate is the mantle right here. Okay, we're going to use that as one of the starting points. And then from there, I'm going to have you do this. We're going to come up from that, going towards the head. We want to go up 3/8. You put another dot, and then we'll go up 3/8 more and put another dot, and then from that dot we'll go up a 1/2 inch and we'll put another dot. Now, I hope I'm not confusing you on this, but here's what I want to do. I want to go on the first dot up. We had the 2 7/8, which is up to the mantle where it starts. Then you come up with that dot and you lay your ruler across there and try to get your inch line lined up with the center line, and then go out. Let's see, it looks like 7/16, and put a dot and 7/16. Then we're going to go up to the next dot, which is another 3/8 up, and we want to lay the ruler on the line so it's running with the center line of the body, and then come out. I want you to go a 1/2 inch out and a 1/2 inch out, and you're going straight down. This is like, you know, you're dive bombing right in on to that mark. Okay, and don't bend it over or anything like that. This is just looking straight down and then putting your mark in there. And then up at the top one here, I want you to go out. Let's see. Excuse me, sorry about that. Get my hat involved with let me turn my hat around. so I don't go banging into the camera here. And I want to measure out looking straight down. Let me get this back here. And if I'm looking straight down, it looks like it's from the center line out 9/16, and I put a dot, and then I come over here. And I know this is dropping off like crazy, but it's like down in here, you know, I know I'm trying to level the playing field as if like the 9/16 is straight out, but also you're laying the ruler straight out, but you're dropping down to the 9/16. So from here on a straight line basis across here, 9/16 from here to here, and the same way on that side. And this one was, I believe, a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, and so on. So what we have now, and what I'm trying to create, is this loop right in here. That's like a mantle for the bird. So let me spin this around. Let me go this way so that you can sort of see it with me. And I hope I'm in the picture here. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm making mine a little wider than what this picture is, but this is what I want you to follow. You're going to come out here on an arc from that 2 7/8, okay? And here's the 2 7/8 from here to here. It's up to that mantle, just to let you know. So I start at that point, and I come out to this first dot. This is all like an arc, and then I'm going to the second arc, and then this dot down at the bottom here, I'm going right down to that one. So this whole thing is swinging out, and you can see like it's not a straight line, it's just arcs. Okay. Now on this side, I'm got the dots, and I want to duplicate the same thing. So I'm trying to look at this side and make this side the same. Everything is like a mirror image on the bird. At least that's what we're trying to do for the back end here. So I've got this side matching that side, and then we shoot all the way down to here. And if you notice, I'm holding the finger down on the tail so it doesn't walk. Another thing I want to show you before I forget, this is just some fabric. I think it's like for shelf material, so there's no slippage. You can get this like at a dollar store or something like that. It's really helpful. It acts as like a third hand, because when you're measuring, this wants to walk all over the place. So if you can ever get anything that helps you out to keep it steady, this would be one. So I usually have that floating around so that I could get everything in place here and do my measurements and the piece not walking around. If I just kept it on my table here, it would slide because this has a gloss to it, and it just doesn't stay still. So just trying to give you some information here to help you out when you go to take measurements and put it on here. Now, that is part of the mantle that we're trying to get some shape to. Now, I'm going to go, and I have a measurement down here from the tail up on the bird. And what we're doing is we're trying to capture this wing right in here. There's a spot right here. I don't think it's that visible, but it's like a reddish spot. I put that there. That's where the wing wants to sort of stop, and then it continues down. We need to identify this run right here. So to do that, what I do is I come along here and I use the underneath side of the tail and I measure up. Let's see what I have here for a dimension. I have 4 inches. So I want to lay my ruler at the edge of the tail and come straight up 4 inches and then put a dot. Okay, and it's not something bendable. You want to keep it straight. So you're looking at the bird in profile, just like it would be here, and you're measuring straight up. And you're not laying the ruler down or bending it, you're straight. So you end up with a spot right about here. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is you should be relatively right off the cheek here. And if you measure that, just to see if you're in the ballpark, it's roughly about 3/8 from here to here. So if you're not, you got to make a little bit of adjustment. But it's really starting from the bottom of the tail here, okay? That line of action is what you're running with. So you set that up and you put a dot. But the dot may end up being up here, and when you go to measure, if you assume like the end of the tail's here, you got a line of action which is matching the end of the tail. As if like you're squared up here, you got to be squared up here. If the dot ended up here, it's going to be too close to the cheek. So you got to move it down to where it gets 3/8 across here. And then that should guarantee you to be where you should be, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things just to aid you. We're going to try to draw this somewhat, even though you don't have anything to go by here. We have on this tail, or the wing, I should say, we sort of have this step down that we have in here is part of the wing. So we know we're coming off the wing like right here, and we could shoot that out. Now, what I want to try to mimic is this here. See how this swings around this way? I'm going to just take a real light line and just mark it out and try to mate up to that. Now we're doing like an arc. This is from that 4-inch mark here that was 3/8 of an inch off this way. You're just doing a real light line. Then what I want you to do is come over here and measure from that dot, again, not laying it down, but just holding it flat in profile, 3/4 of an inch, put a dot. Then come over here, 3/4 of an inch, and put a dot. And so on. And then what I've done, just to keep you, to see if you're in the ballpark, I have like measurements. So if you were to measure from this dot in profile, with this bird perfectly in profile, this has to be squared up, you are going to be 5/8 out. So we're 5/8 out as you're looking straight down on it, and then you know you're in good shape there. Then you come over to this dot. Remember, they were 3/4 of an inch apart. This next one is 9/16 as you look straight down, holding the bird in profile. And then the next one is 3/8. This was 9/16, I'm sorry, on the second one. This one is 3/8. And the last one is 1/4 of an inch. So we're there, and this is the end of it. So here's what I do. I'm going to try to mimic this wing. So I'm going to come out, and I'm going to do an arc that comes around to the first dot. I'm going to come around to the second dot, and then I'm going to come around through the third one, and then this bottom of what would be the wing is where this continues over, and now you have the wing put in, okay? So just to expedite things, you're doing the exact same thing over again. You're getting 4 inches up. You're 3 inches from here as the crow flies. You're not laying it down. You're looking from here over to this cheek. That should be around 3/8. Then we said we would draw a line off of here, which looks like the bottom of this wing where it lays onto the tail, and it comes this way. And then another way you can do it too, is you could lay this on here and then move your points to see if you can hit them each time and check yourself out that way. You're trying to mimic exactly that, okay? So on this side, I've done this ahead of time. I got that 3/4 of an inch away, this one 3/4 of an inch away, and I've got another one right there. So I'm going to come out. This is the one that's going to have the biggest arc, okay? And then the rest of this is almost straight line work, okay? So that's your wing line, and so is this, okay? So it's a little tricky. I try to give you these other dimensions in here to check yourself out, because a lot of times you think you're perpendicular, and when you lay this bird on there, this should be squared up, straight up and down, and that says you're in profile, because everything else, the head's sort of turning up, but the body itself should be rigid. It's the head that turned. So you're building everything so that it's the same on this side as it is on that side. So that covers the wing, and this covers the mantle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the flame tip out, and this is a flame tip ruby. I'm going to use this on my ram grinder, and full speed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right on the line. And one second. A lot of times you don't see it, but I put these optivisors on because it helps me see better, and it just keeps me on track. So here we go. I'm going to lay this right on the line. I'm undercutting right at that line. You notice I take a short cut and then stop. And I want to get that established. Now, when I get up to this dot, the one up towards the head, I'm going to go shallow once it gets to that dot. I'm going to go like that. But in here, I'm going to lean in a little bit more. And I'm coming up onto the tail, but I don't want to take anything off the tail, and I don't want to go too far in here yet. But that is pretty good. That's down about maybe a 1/16 right now, and that's fine for what we need to do. And it gets shallow as it gets right up to that point. So what we want to do now, and I'll get the pencil in there so you can see this right here, I want to get rid of this bottom edge, okay? So I'm going to come in here with the flame, and I'm just flattening that portion. I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm only doing what's on the belly. And most of the time I would do this with a pear, but for the sake of convenience here, you can do this. If you use the pear, you'd have a steadier and easier time of it. I'm going to tell you that. And that's the pear-shaped one. So I got that in there. Now I have an edge right here. It's like a double edge. I got rid of the one on the bottom side, and I want to make sure I blend all of this out and it blends back. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to show you the right way, you can't do everything with that one. This is a lot more forgiving, and this is the pear-shaped ruby. You come in here more, and you can really roll that around. It just, when you have a real thin bit, like this one, it just wants to dig in. Where with the pear, you have a better chance of control and rolling the wood, and it's ideal for shaping. I use this about 90% of the time, and I use the flame to get me those edges, like through here, okay? Now, because I don't want to knock this down too far, I'm going to come back with the flame just a little bit, and I'm going to, that other edge that I just created in here, I'm just going to soften very lightly, just sort of just knocking the edge off just a little bit. It's still there, but I'm not worried about that. Now, on the mantle here, what we're going to do is I'm going to undercut on this side, which is the tail side, and I'm going to lay this in. I'm going to be shallow in the beginning, and I'm walking this down, and I'm following the line, and I want to keep the line, and I only want to go down maybe a 16th. Okay. I'll get that around there, and then I'll come back and I'll do this here. It's shallow here. And then I come up and get my depth just by going back and forth. And there is the mantle. Now I'm running a pencil line down the middle, but I got an edge on this side and an edge on that side. I want to take this and soften it down into the valley here. So I'm going to soften this edge, and this is where this flame tip one really works out nice. If you have the bullet shaped diamond, that works out great too. So there's a lot of ways of accomplishing it, but everybody has their favorites. So I'm just softening this on the outside and got rid of most of it, but it's like rolling in. It's not like where we're blending it totally away here. We're keeping like a little bit of a rollout, just slightly. Now we're going to do the same thing on the inside. We're going to come in here, we're going to knock that edge off, and we're softening that. Okay? And I'm going to come around and I'm softening that edge. So we have a nice roll into it, and we have a nice roll out of it, but you do have definitely a valley that's smooth, okay, going through there. And if you can accomplish that, I'm going to ask you to come over here, and I'm going to let you do this. Remember, this was right on the line, right on down, but you don't go on to the tail. You start here on the line, and then you walk your way up. Okay? So do that, and you get down about a 1/16, and then you blend everything away this way, and you slightly soften it this way. So I'm going to let you do that on your own, and then I see edges here that I still haven't captured, so I'm going to clean that up, and then on the next video, I'll show you some more things that we do as far as mapping out how the feathers go on here. And hope you got something out of this, and we're going to take this in stages to get this all in here, but we're going to be putting different groupings for the feather layouts and so on, just to give you an idea of how this would look all penciled up with a lot of feathers. Here we are here. So we're on our way to get to this stage here, and this is actually ahead of it because I just penciled in all the stuff here, but I have not undercutted anything. So if you could get this done, and on the next video, I will take you further. And another good thing you may do too is you could do some hand sanding, or if you have one of these, you could come in and sand this just slightly, because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. You don't want to reshape things and stuff like that. So if you got something out of it, I'd appreciate you give me a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye now.